Swapnil Kothari, who's been very patiently holding the phone line. Swapnil, good evening. How significant is this? Still some time till we have this man physically back in the country, but a significant move when it comes to the entire wheels of justice that have finally begun to move, and the agency is there putting an extremely watertight case, Swapnil, before the UK's courts. The reason why you have the High Court today dismissing his appeal on, grounds of depression.
The ground of depression itself is a very flimsy ground, and anybody having passed his law course will easily see through that, much less, or rather should I say much more than the High Court at the United Kingdom level. So as far as this aspect is concerned, Nirav Modi has lost all his arguments. He doesn't have any plausible legal arguments, cogent arguments to make before the court of law. And more so, rather than the legally succeeding, what is succeeding here is the diplomatic initiative which has been taken behind all this legal scenario, that the UK counterparts are now convinced by the Indian counterparts that the Indian legal system is a robust one. There is no question of any human rights violation. And more importantly, that when Nirav Modi lands here, he will face a process of fair trial. So that is what is most important and which is prevailing. As you have seen in the last 2-3 days, even Mr. Sanjay Bhandari was given an extradition order. So you're seeing one after the other, all of these extradition orders will start taking place because it's more so a success, not only of the Crown Prosecution Service who are arguing on behalf of the Indian government before the UK courts saying and presenting a very valid, cogent case, but it is more so the conviction with which they are arguing that the Indian system is possibly more robust than even the English one when it comes to certain aspects. So this is the way I view it. And to answer your question, whether it's still a long time, yes, it is a long time before, because he's a very powerful man. He's got enough, still possibly some aces up his sleeve to try, but I don't think those cards are going to work out well because everything is going against him, Deepthi. And what's going to happen more so, very importantly, is that he's going to start losing all his appeals one after the other, including his possibly last jot attempt, which might be the asylum aspect, that I need to be given an asylum. Of course, for that, then the UK will...
And Swapnil, I was reading that to be able to reach the next stage of his appeal, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, then I'll also, in fact, get in Kapil Sankla. And Kapil, thank you. Good evening for joining us. But Swapnil, quick question to you before I go back to Kapil. I was reading, Swapnil, that it's not even easy now for him to approach the Supreme Court, because unlike here in India, in the UK, the Supreme Court listens to cases only of public interest, and clearly this does not fall in that category. So what really does this then mean, Swapnil, going ahead for the man, or you still believe that there could be some ways through which he could be just buying time?
Whether it's in a public interest or not in a public interest is eventually for the UK courts to determine. And possibly they will get into that sort of an exercise where they will try to say that, okay, this is something, we have to determine at the end of the day. But whatever it is, whatever that they determine, whether it's the public interest or whether it's not in the public interest, they are definitely going to end up, Nirav Modi is going to end up losing all his counts right up to whatever level that he wants to go to and pursue his case. But I don't think that it's going to cut much ice with any of the courts, because when you've lost especially 1 or 2 tiers, now that you have lost, then, any other further tier that may exist, or anything, even the asylum aspect or whatever that he will try the way Vijay Mallya is trying, I don't think that's going to work out. So, Deepthi, all of this is basically an exercise. And now more so, most importantly, we've got an Indian Prime Minister up at the top level in the United Kingdom. I would call him Indian. I would not call him British. I would call him with an Indian origin. Let's put it that way, to be precise, politically precise. So he is going to be able to influence much better the entire judicial system in that sense, because obviously the judiciary cannot function totally independent of political, influence in some form or the other. So if he presents and says that, look, the Indian judicial system is much better and it is not something which... you have to worry about. So obviously that echoes through the corridors of the UK courts, and which it has been echoing. So I see a great possibility of us succeeding in getting whoever we want back. But it's going to take a while. Because
and clearly a message there. Yes, it will. We've seen Vijay Mallya. We've seen how that case has moved. Just 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, Abhishek, Rhythm, we were breaking the story about, Sanjay Bhandari, who again is going to be extradited back to India. Today, you have the story of Nirav Modi, and it's clearly going to be Mehul Choksi next. Kapil Sankla, The UK court says extradition will not be unjust. The very fact, that you can manage an extradition from the UK, Kapil, everyone knows is a Herculean task. It isn't easy. The very fact that this case has reached where it has, Kapil, how important is it?
I think, as was said, this is truly a proud moment for us. They've been, past years of poor legal representation. I think the strategy that has been used in legal accumulation that has been fantastic. I remember this was, I think, in February 21, if I'm not mistaken. There was this question where challenge was made from the Westminster Magistrates Court in this matter, right? And at that time, we were resisting this argument and saying that, what has been done and what can be done, whether this will be challenged or not. The fantastic thing is that there have been consistently 2 orders in our favor, and that's actually a huge thing for any court. You see, what happens is that when you go to the Supreme Court, as you rightly said, that the Honorable Supreme Court there only look at matters which have point of view of law or public importance. So as far as public importance goes, this matter will not be admitted. The other is law. On the question of law, there are 2 orders or 2 judgments against this gentleman. So I don't think that this is now going to take a very, very long time, considering that the Supreme Court there expedites matters. It's not a very slow process there. And the order made by the Magistrates Court, I think the Westminster Magistrate Court, was also a very well-reasoned order. And this was also on the points where, it was argued that there is a political character to it, etc., etc. And none of those arguments cut any ice. They haven't cut any ice in the High Court as well. So I think it's a great, great movement for us. I think what has been done is fantastic. And I think that the test, so to say, the test of time has shown that the Westminster Magistrate Order has been allowed. The High Court has also passed an order in favor of that, and I think extradition is not so far away now.
Kapil, why don't you push that point a little further? Then we'll go back to both Abhishek and Rhythm. Help us understand what is the procedure like, because anyone who understands the law will be able to tell us that extradition from the UK, like I reiterated, is a Herculean task. It isn't easy. But the fact that you have Indian agencies that are putting out watertight cases, Indian agencies, Kapil, again and again sending out that message that you can't be looting the country and believe that you can run away and be safe at another land.
So I think now what should be done is you can run away, but you cannot hide. So as far as the law is concerned, you see it's a very Herculean task. There was an extradition treaty that was signed in 1992, if I'm not mistaken, which was subsequently ratified. The extradition treaty basically stated that there are certain exceptions where the government there can choose cases of political character, issues pertaining to race, religion, nationality, where cases pertaining to death penalty, etc. So the extradition, which also came subsequently between India and UK, is very simple. If you seek an extradition, the government must send a request through the Ministry of Business. This is the Home Office there.
Okay. Kapil, we just have some trouble with your audio line, so we'll just reconnect with you because I think it's important to understand what happens from here on. We also have Dr. Subramaniam Swamy joining us right now here on Republic. Sir, thank you and good evening for speaking to us here on Republic. How do you respond to this, sir? You're looking at Vijay Mallya, who's lost all cases. He's yet to be extradited back to the country, but India has won that case. Then you have Sanjay Bhandari. Today, the news breaking that Nirav Modi is going to be next.
But he's not being extradited. They have dismissed that. They didn't agree with his